Hollow Knight, no damage, requiring completing the entire game, beating the Hollow Knight, and reaching the credits without taking a single mask of damage. That was the challenge. There were many close calls on the journey, with this being the story of one of them, how this run lost to a seemingly inconsequential Stag Station. Heading off for the first job of the run, beating the False Knight, which allows us to grab the Drop City crest for entering the City of Tears later on. We then help a shaman out with their pest problem, and in return getting taught how to do a spell.
You're a wizard, Harry.
Now at this point we're limited to walking, which is very slow, so now we want to acquire dash. We head over to Greenpath, where we had to avoid some Venus flytrap-like mobs that kept trying to nip our ankles, if we have ankles that is. Then save a random local, and get randomly challenged to a duel.
Trial by combat, right now!
Which we of course win. I've watched enough Game of Thrones for this. Then dash acquired. We head back to fight a pregnant mother and her babies. This really made me consider our role in this game.
Are we the baddies?
Purchased arguably the best charm in the game, Shaman Stone, which increases both size and damage of our spells. We then overcharm and head to grab our next movement ability, Mantis Claw, which allows us to climb the walls. Time to head into the city. We meet Quirrell, he seems cool and dependable. Visit the local nailsmith, who insults our trusty nail, but then strengthens it, so we're all good. Headed to the pawn shop to sell some relics we picked up on the way, where the shopkeeper was asking a tad personal questions.
Or a son?
Saw the local from earlier, and then narrowly avoided getting lanced. Whoa! And came across a dancing mob. We then arrived at our first Stag Station. After using the taxi service, we headed into Crystal Peak. We had to deal with some Resident Evil-esque lasers, grab the Crystal Heart giving us our last movement ability, Crystal Dash. This allows us to head to a new area of the game. Some ghosts then randomly put us to sleep, where we acquire a new nail in our dream, somehow. And alas, here the mistake was made. We'll find out later why just dropping straight down here ended up costing the entire run. With Dream Nail, we're now on the path to the end, but first we want a bit of extra damage. We head back to the city, face off against Soul Warrior and his army of lobbies, who after defeating, we can now acquire the Shade Soul. This greatly increases our spell's damage and the size of the spell. We now need to find 3 Dreamers in order to face the final boss. We drop down through an innocuous room. We do a tricky dash over some acid, almost risk a jellyfish bomb, beat Umu with Quirrell coming in clutch. And that was the first Dreamer done. We progress further and drop into Deep Nest, every arachnophobe's paradise, reaching Beast Den, where we apparently haven't learned our lesson from the ghosts, and get kidnapped again. We Shade Soul our way through and make it to the second Dreamer, doing our good deed for the day by saving a grub on the way. And so, 1 Dreamer remained. What could go wrong? Well. So now to explain the small mistake from earlier. We require going to a certain place in City of Tears, which can be accessed in 2 ways. 1, heading right from Lem, the route we were just going. However, due to a route change, we never opened the door to let us go this way. And 2, head directly down from the resting grounds, with the easiest way to reach resting grounds is a free Stag Station that we could have unlocked here. Now you could think, just head the way we did earlier. However, oh, everything's infected. The worst, because we can't go down here because it's blocked off because it's infected. And so there ends up being only one path available to us. Head down a very risky, unpracticed, unrooted, infected room. Here's how it went. Oh! And so the run was lost to a room we should have never been in the first place. But it wouldn't be as bad if we got hit later in the run, that this wasn't the only hit of the entire run, right? And so we carried on, Crystal dashing back, dropping down through the right side of the City of Tears, and progressed to the final Dreamer, which did require fighting some Watcherites, which we made a touch easier by dropping a Chandelier on one. After beating them, hitless, of course, we headed up, met our last Dreamer, and it was time for the final boss, the Hollow Knight. The hardest boss in any percent, the last hope of this run, not ending in a one-hit PB to a room that we were never meant to be in, to a simple act of forgetting a Stag Station. But it did. And so ended that story. But to finish on a positive note, we returned stronger than ever, learned from the mistakes, came back, and finished the run properly. Hollow Knight, no damage, run, done! Thanks for watching, be sure to subscribe, and we'll catch you next time.